Good evening, folks, and welcome to this town hall meeting tonight. My name is Christy Bear, and it is my blessing and privilege to be the new principal here at Hillsdale Elementary. I will be available following the town hall meeting tonight if you would like to take a tour. I know it smells like a new school, but you probably want to see more of it too. So I'll just be over by the stairs when we're finished here this evening, and I would be more than happy to show you around this beautiful building. With that, I would like to just introduce Mayor Tammy. She's here tonight to give some opening remarks.
Do I need a microphone? Usually I don't. So, welcome to our town hall meeting on the south side. You know, I met with the... There you go. I have a listening tour that I do every year, and when we got a citizen group together from the south side of Meridian, they were full of pride and they had that south side chant going on. So I caught on quickly and thought, okay, I'm on board, although I'm north side. So thank you again for being here. We have all of our departments represented here tonight. So if you have a question and you would prefer it off on the side afterwards, we stand ready to answer your questions. But we hope that this is interactive. We started these town hall meetings so that we brought City Hall outside of the walls of our building and made ourselves accessible to you because we want to hear your opinions. And you'll be part of that dialogue in an interactive way later towards the end of this town hall meeting. I do want to recognize some of our city council members that are here, and I'll put on my glasses so I don't miss any of them.
Just make sure it's recorded.
Our city council president, Keith Bird. And then we also have Councilman Palmer, Kavanagh, Milam, and I think I got it. Councilman Kavanagh, you might note, has been setting up the chairs, so at your service, right? Okay, so my first topic that I'd like to touch on, and I'm only going to touch on this briefly. You've been seeing a little bit about this in our city news and in the insert that we had in your utility bills. In 2010, we received a lawsuit by Ada County regarding a 1994 order that asked the City of Meridian and the City of Garden City to provide a courtroom. We thought that order was actually satisfied in 1996 when an initiative was on the ballot asking our citizens, do you want to consolidate all of the courtrooms into one? We got better efficiencies, and in 1996, overwhelmingly, that was passed by the citizens that was the desire. So the county, in partnerships with a variety of partners, moved forward to open the consolidated courthouse in 2002. In 2004, Meridian, as we started our planning for a new city hall, our goal was to provide services, as many services as we could to our citizens on the west side of Ada County, so you don't have to go to Boise. They said, well, we just opened our consolidated facility in 2002. We don't want a courtroom in Meridian. Another problem that we found when the county came to us in 2008 is they were starting to feel the pinch and say, we need help paying for courtrooms. And since you didn't provide one, which we didn't know about, none of us were around in '94, I'm sure I was in elementary school like this one. I really wasn't. But the fees haven't changed since 1975. So we started dialogue with our legislators in terms of trying to get those fees updated. And basically, we've held firm because we don't think that our citizens should pay for courts through your county taxes and pay for courts through your city taxes. So we took this to the courts to decide. We're still in that process. Up to date, we've spent $250,000 in legal fees, but we could have been paying $400,000 a year since 2010. So at this point, we're on the black side of this, and we want to find a solution. We want to find a solution because we do think that this is a county-wide issue, and that all of the cities in Ada County agree. This is a county-wide issue that needs a county-wide solution. And we want to be part of the dialogue, finding that solution. In August 2nd of this year, just 4 weeks ago, we did get a court ruling that said, we don't think that what the citizens did in '96 answered the issue of having a courtroom. So cities, we want you to submit a plan. What they didn't allow us was due process to determine why is a courtroom necessary? What problem are we trying to solve? So as we submit our plan to you, we're addressing the problem with a viable solution. We're still waiting for our due process. They didn't allow that, but we are moving forward. Today we submitted a plan, and we'll continue to have dialogue, and we'll continue our efforts at keeping you up to date, and would stand ready to answer any of your questions. We do have a web address that you can go on for a chronological order of all of the different activities, actions, and steps that we've taken to try and be part of the solution, rather than finding it in court. But we're in court, and we're working within that system now. So on a more positive note, we are moving forward and soliciting your recommendations on our Neighborhood Stars program. We're doing it a little bit different this year, and we have categories. We're asking for nominations within. These Neighborhood Stars are those that work within our neighborhoods and our community to shine bright in improving the quality of our lives in our residential and in our business community, improving our sense of community here in the city of Meridian. As you see the categories, we have the Neighbor of the Year, the Youth of the Year, Senior of the Year, and we have Mayor's Choice. We've gotten a number of great recommendations and nominations. They're really hard to pick one in each of those categories. So we do recognize all nominees, but we are looking for that shining star in each of those categories. So please take a moment and think of those people that sometimes are the unsung heroes, and give them a shout out and put in a nomination for them. We're also launching something that you have earned a bingo thanks for today because you're attending a city event, but we're starting Meridian Bingo. It is a way for our community to get out and enjoy the many community assets that we have in our community and have fun doing it. Now I know they call it Meridian Bingo. I kind of call it selfie bingo, because if you will look at your cards, and they're available in the back, you have to take a selfie at all of these different places. If you need lessons, let me know. My youth council has been giving them to me for the last 2 years, and I'm almost getting good at it. But stay tuned, and we hope that you will participate in this activity. How many of you have been to the Youth Farmers Market at Meridian City Hall? How many of you didn't know about it? How many of you get the city newsletter? Okay, so the people that raise your hand that didn't know about it, that get the city newsletter, maybe we need to hide a fun fact in there for Meridian Bingo to make sure they read their newsletter. But this is so cool. And I would ask that you come and enjoy this farmers market. We've been requested by the community in a variety of venues to have a farmers market here in Meridian. And we're surrounded by communities that have successful farmers market, so we wanted to make ours unique. And that unique piece is our vendors are youth members. They're school-aged, and they are taking their hobbies and turning them into a business. We have mentors that are helping them. We provide the table and the canopy, and if you go down there, it gets me goosebumps. It is so rewarding to see these young people with smiles on their faces, adding up your purchases, counting back your money, understanding that they're marketing their product to the community. And we hope in turn our community comes out and supports our youth. This is the first year. We intend to do it every year hereafter. So if you have kids at home, please consider that for next year and encourage your youth to become one of our vendors. They don't have to do it every Saturday. They can choose once a summer, every weekend, every other, it doesn't matter. You can even have youth groups, like these Boy Scouts. You could sell something at the Youth Farmers Market as long as you grew it or you made it and earn money for your troop. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to lift up our youth in participating in this activity. There's a reason that we were voted #1, and I know people do not want me to talk about this because it's our secret, right? But it's because of our community partners, and I think you'll hear about the partnership that this building was the first phase in. We want to bring community amenities to our families, to our children, that continue to show that they are our priorities in this community. And we're excited about this first phase and what is to come to bringing our community to that next level and offering what our families, our children, our seniors, our businesses, our community should expect from the community. And you'll have a chance to hear that. And as I get to the question part, that we don't have the slide here any longer, but I would like to have Dr. Robert Hasty come up here. We have an exciting announcement that was announced earlier this winter about the Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine that is coming to Meridian, to the state of Idaho, that will be a partner and a neighbor of Idaho State University that is going to bring our health science and technology corridor to the next level. It's already received a lot of regional and national attention, along with Idaho State University's A&P Lab and BioSkills Learning Center, in which ICOM is going to be able to utilize. So I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Hasty, and I told him he had his elevator speech already, and he had 30 seconds.
All right, and you know Mayor Tammy's going to time me on this, so, well, anyway, I think that probably most of you know that Idaho is one of the 5 states without a medical school of its own. And it's actually the most populous state without a medical school of its own. And there's probably no doubt that that's contributed to the fact that Idaho ranks 49th out of physicians per capita. We're going to change that. That's the reason why we're here. And so in partnership with Idaho State University, we're a private Idaho State University, it's a public partnership. Right on the campus of ISU Meridian Health Science Center, we're going to be building approximately 95,000 square foot facility right next to the building. We know that from an economic standpoint, we've had an independent economic group give us an analysis. It's over $50 million a year once we're up in full operation. The difference it's going to make in direct and indirect economic development to the region. But more important, it's going to give opportunities for young folks to go to medical school. It's incredibly competitive to go to medical school in the United States. It's very competitive to get into medical school, here in a state without a medical school of its own. And, I'm looking at these scouts, I'm sitting right behind them right now, and I just had this feeling, one or two of them may want to become a physician one day. They're not going to have to leave the city of Meridian. And I can tell you that we're extraordinarily grateful of our relationship with Meridian. We're going to be excellent citizens here. We want to be part of the community, and we had a choice of where to put this medical school, and the choice we looked around. Of course, we know that statistic, #1 city in the United States, and I can tell you, behind that number, I think we have the #1 mayor in America, and I think she has a lot to do with it. So anyway, so thanks for opening us up, to the community. We're excited. I don't think there's any other place in Idaho we'd rather have Idaho's first medical schools in Meridian. So we're going to be excited to be here. And 2018, our first class is expected once we get to accreditation and our building our facility. So thanks for having us in the community. Thank you.
So this is around a $34 million building project. They're bringing around 90 new jobs to the community that pay over $70,000 a year average. So this is a great new community partner in our community, bringing services for the future of our youth. And I just want to make one notation. They did qualify for a state incentive. And unlike anyone else who has received a state or a local incentive, they've usually turned it back into their business model. Operational or to offset construction costs. Well, the Idaho College of Osteopathic Medicine is turning that into scholarships for our students to help offset medical education costs. That is a great community partner. So I'm going to turn this over to Bill Parsons. He is our planning manager, and Bill, you're up.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm like the mayor, I like to talk loud as well. I'll
Talk louder.
Yeah, I'll talk louder. Based on my boss's orders here. But I'm Bill Parsons, I am the planning supervisor for the city of Meridian. And I think that was a great segue into what I'm going to talk about tonight. And that really is all the development that is occurring in South Meridian. I have a passion for South Meridian because I live in South Meridian. So I like this section of town. Traffic is minimal. Great open field, a lot of nice developments in South Meridian. So hopefully I can share this with you. I apologize for this because we're growing so rapidly that it's almost impossible to fit every single project on a single map. I think if I do this again for a town hall meeting, I probably would need to do 2 to 3 to 4 slides just to really capture everything that's going on in Meridian. Hopefully this is better. So, whoops. So what I want to do, if you look at this, how many of you drive through South Meridian and don't drive past a construction site? That's what I thought, because I know when I do, that's all I see out there in North Meridian, South Meridian. So we are very, very busy, very, very active, and we are a very lean team. So we give you quite a bit of bang for your buck in our community development department, and we are very, very proud of that. And that is a testament to my manager, Caleb Hood, and also mayor and city council that's here this evening. They gave us the tools, the direction, and the drive, and these public partnerships, as the mayor alluded to tonight, with the school being here, the future park site, the YMCA, all of those good things happening in South Meridian so that we can bring those services to you. So our ultimate goal is someday you won't have to go over the interstate in order to do your grocery shopping and all of those services. You go to your hair salons, go to your doctor's offices. We want to keep you here in South Meridian and reduce those trips on the local streets. That really is what our goal is in community development. Make it an all-inclusive community so that you have all the services in one location. So you can see here on this slide that the common theme for South Meridian at this time really is residential developments. We have multiple happening along the Linder corridor, or at least the east side of Linder. Some of you are familiar, some of them, keep in mind a lot of these projects are either in the planning stages, they're under construction or nearing completion. And most of these are the most recent projects from 2015 to now. So this isn't what's been occurring in the last couple of years. This is really within a year's time span. And that's how much growth we've seen. So you can see here, in our world, South Meridian is the interstate to the north. We have Eagle Road here, about a half mile past Eagle Road is our boundary to the east. And then I stopped at Amity because the majority of the growth is occurring from in between Lake Hazel and Amity to the north. And then of course with 10 Mile bounded by the west. So some things that you can look forward to, and I'll start here from left and kind of work to the right here. We're looking at a Vicious RV dealership that's located, will be going next to Camping World. If you've driven by there recently, you've noticed that there's an apartment complex that's just recently finished up, and there will be an assisted living facility just south of that apartment complex as well. So the Overland Road corridor is actually seeing a lot of the commercial activity at this point because the infrastructure and the roads are in place there. As you head down Meridian Road, a couple coffee shops came in. We have Dutch Brothers and Starbucks under construction, along with an automotive business that is just right behind that facility for you. And then Walmart has an application into the city. There's an out parcel right next to the Icon Credit Union where they're looking to do a convenience store and a fuel facility for you there, rather than having to go to the Jackson store right there at Meridian and Overland Road. So again, we're trying to get some more of those services here for you. And then of course, like this school, Victory Middle School was another school that opened up this year based on that bond that passed recently. Now as you head down Locust Grove, you can see that we have multiple subdivisions in the works. We have Silverwater subdivision currently under construction. Cabin Ridge subdivision is under construction at this time. These are single family developments, so similar to what you see around the school site here. Then we have Normandy, Reflection Ridge, and then also White Bark subdivision, Southern Highlands, Hill Century Farms, which is this development here. So you can see Meridian is starting to creep down closer and closer to Lake Hazel, and our boundary is growing a lot more rapidly than we've seen in previous years. Currently tonight we're here at Hillsdale Elementary. After my presentation there will be representation from YMCA to talk about their future plans to add on. But I'll introduce them as I complete my presentation. If you notice what's going on at Victory and Eagle Road, you see that Rite Aid, which is currently under construction for you. And then some smaller subdivisions. So some of these are larger scale projects, some of them are smaller scale residential developments. This particular segment of Meridian, there are some phases under construction right now, but a lot of these phases are predicated on infrastructure upgrades. So although they might be annexed and zoned within the city, they can't really develop anything until the necessary infrastructure is in place. But you can see there's several hundreds of acres planned for single family. Over the last couple of years, Meridian has seen a tremendous amount of growth in multifamily development. For now, on the south side of the state, or the south side of the interstate, you haven't been hit with some of those requests at this time. As I mentioned to you, there's 190 unit multifamily development currently operating or open just west of Stoddard and the north side of Overland. And just recently, the Silverstone's Apartments project just got approved by City Council. Now that is a fairly large multifamily development. It will be consisting of 314 units on that street right next to Silverstone. And if you think about it, that's really an appropriate location for multifamily developments. We have employment there, there's services there for people to eat. That's what we try to do when we do our planning for these areas. We try to set it up so these developments, residential developments and commercial developments commingle. So they speak to, they're part of the road system, they're part of the pedestrian system. They're in close proximity to one another so that we try to reduce trips on the road. And that's what we're trying to do here. Some applications that I haven't noted on here, again, I couldn't fit everything on here. There's many projects in South Meridian that I can't put on here because they're not all the way through the public hearing process. But U.S. citizens can access all of this information on the city's website. We keep track of it through Laserfish, through our city clerk's website. If you ever see a public hearing sign on one of the properties, you can always call that number on that sign, and we'll get you in contact with the planner that's assigned to that project, and they can give you all those particulars on what that proposed development is. That's really something that we try to do. We want to be transparent for you so that you know what's happening in your community. That's really one of our goals, is to be transparent, keep you informed, and let you know that we are here and we do hear your concerns. We want to make sure that your voice is part of that public record. That's what planning and our community development department is all about, being all-inclusive and hearing your concerns. Now, I would have added the medical school, but you're just north of that interstate. So, but if I had my cursor here, if we were up here a little bit further, they're somewhere in that general vicinity. So they're pretty close to South Meridian. I guess we can give them a pass on that. So without going into too many specifics, are there any questions for me before I turn my presentation over to the next group? All right. Well, at this time, I'd like to introduce the YMCA CEO and Senior Vice President David Giroux and Scott Curtis to give you an update on the YMCA.